Hello and welcome to the wonderful story series, which is called Reflections, where we hear stories that recharge and rejuvenate us. And today we have Raewyn Simpson, who is going to share a story titled Finding Meaning to Life. Raewyn, a New Zealander by birth, has lived in Australia for the past 17 years. Raewyn is a mother and a grandmother, a retired social worker, and has been practicing meditation for the last 38 years. And about the story that she would be sharing with us today, she says she was at a stage in her life where she wasn't finding contentment in life and was wondering what life meant to be all about. She was searching for meaning and found the real meaning when she came across Raj Yoga meditation. So, a very hearty welcome to the program, Raewyn. And let's hear from you. What is it that you found, and how is it that you found meaning to life, as you say? So, welcome to the program once again. And it's over to you to share your story.
Thank you very much, Lata, and for the kind welcome. Hello to everyone. So, yes, I grew up in rural New Zealand on a farm, and it was quite an idyllic lifestyle in many ways. I had two sisters, and it was a beautiful farm with an ocean on one side and a harbour on the other, and we spent a lot of our life when we weren't at school on the backs of our horses and on the beach and just having that beautiful country lifestyle. Went to school in a local, small community, so everything was good about that. And but I just found that even with that sort of what you could say an idyllic lifestyle, I always felt like there was something not quite right about my life, or I just didn't feel as happy as I should. I felt. I just seemed to have that thought at the time, as I was growing up. Why am I not happy, really? I mean, it had moments of happiness like everyone's life does, but it was like there was something missing. Anyway, went on with my life, and as I grew up, I went away to boarding school, as a lot of rural children did in those days. And then, got into my teenage years and got involved in all the things that you sometimes do as a teenager and growing up, and later on did some traveling, and met my husband, future husband, and got married and had a child, lovely son. And, we sort of did the things that you sort of normally do in your life, like the getting married and, settling down, getting a house and working and doing things. But there was still, this lack of contentment, I would say. And I was also searching spiritually for some meaning to life because I wasn't okay about this happiness. I thought, well, there's got to be something more to life than just this, growing up, getting married, having children, working, doing things like that, which everyone does, living that normal life, you would say. Because I sort of didn't know what else to do, to be quite honest. So I followed along on that path. But there was a part of me that wanted to understand more about life. And I read a lot of the theosophical books, which sort of gave me some understanding about spirituality. But it didn't quite give me the answers I was searching for. And so I kept reading all different books from different spiritual aspects. And it wasn't till I was in my 30s, early 30s, that I I had a job where and I met another or two other people actually that had recently done the Raja Yoga meditation course. And so they told me all about that and suggested I do that myself. And at that stage, I had already come to the conclusion that I think I need to learn how to meditate. So I went along. I didn't do the course with the people I was working with, but I did the course with another person. And I just knew immediately, basically from just walking into that room and the vibration of peace and serenity that I experienced, that was what I was looking for. So I did the meditation course, which is a 7 days, 7 lessons, and I did them one after the other. And the knowledge was wonderful. But the most wonderful thing was the feeling of peace, that deep vibration that resonated so deeply with me that I knew that this is what I was looking for. So at the time, my marriage was a little bit, you could say, on the rocks. So I took my son and moved to Auckland, where there was a Raja Yoga meditation centre. And I started attending the centre, and I was so happy and so intoxicated that I had found exactly what I was looking for. But of course, with every deeply spiritual aspect in our life, there's just the finding it is just the start of it. And then having to apply the deep transformation that spirituality actually asks of us. And that's, removing our, what you could say, maybe defects, maybe that's a bit of a strong word, but what we have to do is we have to change our nature somewhat, because it became apparent to me, and I know also the teachings are that, often it's our consciousness that needs to change. It's our attitude that needs to change, and that we can't expect our lives to be peaceful unless we become peaceful. So that's quite a big, deep transformation that has to take place within the self if we are to be truly spiritual and walk that path properly. I was always quite a reactionary person, and everyone in life has a lot of stuff goes on in us, and we're not always content and peaceful and happy. We get angry very quickly. We jump to wrong assumptions. We have a lot of sorrow. We all those things go on with us. And so we really have to look at ourselves very closely and address some of those attitudes, some of those behaviors, because actually it's those things that cause us a lot of sorrow and conflict in our lives. And we don't have the ability to tolerate things, tolerate people and their behaviors well. And so we're often in a state of flux of, irritation, frustration, anger, unable to maintain relationships just because of little things and the lack of our ability to tolerate and our inability to have empathy and love for other people. We just don't know how to do that anymore. We've come so far away from our natural state of peace that we have to, really walk that path back. So, I realized that my bad reactions to certain things, and we normalize that. We normalize anger in the world. We normalize stress. We sort of normalize anxiety. But really, when you dig deep, you find that it's actually your own attitude and thinking that is at fault here. So that's where we, have to start that journey of changing and healing ourselves. And so I've been on that journey for a long time, and I'm really happy that I'm having some good results with that. And but it is a work in progress, and but that's really what we have to do. We have to change our attitudes, and we have to become peaceful. We have to become loving and kind beings once again. Otherwise, the problems of the world don't change either. It's sort of like we've created the state of the world through our own consciousness. And so it's through our change of consciousness that that will bring about the healing to the world as well. We can't just keep being angry and upset about everything that goes on that we think is wrong. So, when we change our consciousness, then that is when the world actually can change. So that's a long journey, but it's one well worth taking because you feel so much better. It's a healing of yourself, the soul, that comes about through practicing that, and it's a daily practice of being really aware of your own thoughts, your own attitude, and your own behavior towards other people. And of course, they're not always going to be how you want them to be. So it's a process of assessing and determining and managing your own thoughts. So I'll probably spend the rest of my life doing that, but I really strongly believe that is what we need to do. So that's a big change. The big change was coming to spirituality, but also the next big change was having to change myself. And that will be an ongoing process. Thank you, Lata Ben.
Thank you. It's wonderful how, we're searching for something and then all of a sudden we find it, and the internal joy or happiness is something we can't explain. That maybe something we can't describe in words, but we know that this is what I was searching for.
Yes.
But as you rightly said, like once we have found it, then it's another journey further ahead of changing ourselves.
Mm.
In your experience, like you have been on this journey for such a long time now, so would you like to share some challenges maybe on this journey? Like initially, it may be all very rosy and happy, and you feel nice and good about it. But in the process of change, as they say, there is a little bit of hard work, if I can use that. So, would you like to share something out of your journey or experience?
Yes. I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think on the spiritual journey, the biggest challenge, and probably for all people, is relationships with other people. Because we get so set in our own way. We have our own personality, our own nature, and that we've developed over a long period of time. And when we come in contact, and it might be in a close relationship or just a living relationship, or in the company, at work, or with other people, and they behave differently than us, and they don't do things the way we would do them, and that is the biggest challenge, I think. Or they may even be rude to us, or not very nice in some way. And, that is a real challenge to the self, to your own way. And I know initially I used to be a very reactionary person if I felt something was unfair in my life. And I think my mother used to tell me I spent half my life as a child saying it's not fair. But, and so it did, that was a strong trait in me, to get, I could be quite rude or, probably verbally aggressive in some way to people if I felt they weren't, and even teachers at school I would have conflict with, if I felt they weren't doing something right in a way. And so that was very strong in me. So that, I think, took me a long time, even as a meditator, a very long time for me to realize that I actually had to change my attitude, that I cannot expect other people to treat me nicely necessarily, or to be like me or do things like me. You know, I like being quite tidy, and and you get living with or working with someone who's untidy, you know, that's a real challenge to you. And but it's, you know, in the spiritual teachings, this is what we have to learn. You know, we talk about the, you know, certain powers, certain spiritual powers in Raja Yoga, and those are what we have to apply. And, you know, one of the big ones is to be able to tolerate other people, to be able to let things go, and to be able to accommodate other people. And that's the biggest thing. And it comes down to, I think, just when you have self-love, when you have self-respect, then you actually don't expect and don't need anything from anyone else. You know, you become an independent unit in a way. Whereas, you know, your happiness and your state of mind is not dependent on how someone else is. And that's what I understand to be true independence, you know. Otherwise, we're constantly being affected by other people. And we have to learn to be beyond that, being affected, so that we just become strong within ourselves and get to know who we really are. And then we can cope with other people much better.
And in order to do that, is there something that I can keep in mind or
Yeah.
remind myself of to
Yeah.
kind of change or like to tolerate, because
Yeah.
people's behavior isn't that easy sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's really difficult. But you know, I think when you meditate, you do go within. You know, it's a type of being able to withdraw yourself from everything external, people, circumstances, everything that's going on around you. And you know, as a soul, as a spiritual being, I understand that our true nature is to be peaceful, is to be loving, is to be kind, happy, and powerful, you know. And that power is what we do connect with when we meditate, when we go within. You know, that's what meditation really is. It's that connecting with your true self. I do believe there is a divine being that we also connect with, and that is also where we get power. But we have to do that work within ourselves. And so it's about checking yourself on a daily basis to try and keep yourself balanced and in the right consciousness. And, you know, I meditate daily and more than once a day. And that's what it becomes. It's become my life. And that's nothing else I really want to do other than to bring about that deep peace within myself, that deep tolerance of and understanding and mercy of other people. Because, you know, we're all on this journey, and no one wants to be unhappy. No one really wants to be angry. No one, you know, we've just all been we've stumbled into this state of consciousness where we're like that, but that's not who we really are. And so if I react to someone negatively and in a frustrated or angry way, I am just going to trigger their anger and their negativity. And so that's what I'll get back. That's what they'll give me. Whereas if I can stay peaceful, that gives them room to think about their response to me and modify their reaction or just let it go a bit. But you see, we're what's happening in the world, and you can see it globally. You know, we're just throwing little bombs at each other all the time, really. So this is what we've got to stop doing. We've just got to learn to be accepting of other people a lot more.
Thank you, Raewyn. That was beautiful. You know, when we share from our experience, I think it uh, like true. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just words, it comes with power.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful to hear from you. And as you said, meditation has a big role to play in this process of change. And you have been meditating for a long time. So, can I request you to maybe give our viewers also an experience of that meditation by speaking a commentary for a few minutes, if that's okay?
Sure. Love to. So, sitting comfortably, just relax my body, and just bring my energy to the center of my forehead, which is where I, the soul, the spiritual being that resides in this body, that's where I sit. That's my energy center. Looking out through these eyes, speaking through this mouth, hearing through the ears, I, the soul, sit peacefully in this body, and I center my energy there. And my energy is of peace. I remove my attention from anything outside of myself, and I just focus that energy within, that energy of peace. I am a peaceful being. No matter what happens, I will maintain that peace. And I feel that peace within me. That is who I am. And I can share that peace. I share it with my body. I can send it down through my body, bringing peace to every limb, every organ within me, just relaxed and peaceful. And that's healing for my body. It gives it a rest from all the anxiety and the stress that the mind brings to the body at times through my thoughts. So I fill myself with peace instead and heal myself of any tension, any worry. Just being quiet, and if any thoughts come into my mind, I just send them away for now. We can address these later, but for now it's just peace that I'm focusing on. Peace and love, the two things the world needs so much now. And I can send that peace out into the world, and send that love out into the world, because the world needs healing. I can send it to someone I know that needs some love or peace. I can send it to a country. I can send it to people. And so I do that for a moment. I just send my peaceful thought and vibration out into the world where there's crisis and war and sorrow. I concentrate my thought of peace and send that to the world. And we can do that often. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raewyn, for that beautiful commentary and giving our viewers an experience.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lata.
And I would also like to thank our viewers for joining in today. And if you would like to know more about us, please do visit our website www.brahmakumaris.org.au. All the programs and the addresses of our centers are listed there, and you're welcome to visit your local center. So thank you once again, and we will be back with another interesting episode and an interesting story. Take care. Om Shanti.